So you don't want your submitter, respondent, customer, or client viewing your submit button. Perhaps you use Paperform merely as a landing page, or you just want to hide it from particular pages. Well, stay tuned because in this video, we'll look at the possible processes of how you can achieve it. G'day Groovers, Alex here from Paperform, and I heard that you were eager to learn how to hide your submit button. So I'll be direct with you. Any form that contains questions will contain a submit button. No questions equals no submit button. However, there will be some instances in which you can hide the submit button or move it. Now, it's also good to note that the submit button will always appear after the last visible question. Now, let's look at the options of hiding your submit button, of which there are two. Option 1, remove all questions. And option 2, use custom CSS to change the display of your form. However, custom CSS is a feature reserved for our agency plan users only. Now, to do this, navigate to your form editor, select the theme settings icon there, then head to UI elements. From here, select custom CSS and toggle it on if it's not. And you'll want to include the following code that I've just pasted there, which I have diligently included in the description of this video. Make sure your changes are saved and the submit button will no longer be visible on your form. Now, remember how I stated earlier that the submit button will always appear after the last visible question? Well, that was a minor lie. I have here a form with 2 questions on 2 separate pages, which I have created by including a page break that you see just here. The first question, do you wish to complete this survey? To which the submitter can answer with a simple yes or no. The second question on the second page, are you a rock star? To which the submitter will also be able to respond with yes or no. Now I have used conditional logic on this page break. If we jump in there, and this is done so that the second page and second question will only be visible if the submitter answers yes to the first question. Let's take a quick look in the live view. So here we can see that the submit button appears directly after the first question. Why? Well, because the conditional logic I set on the page break is telling the form not to make that second page visible. So what happens if I select yes? Boom, that second page and second question is now visible. So the submit button has moved and will now appear after the last visible question. Are you a rock star? Yes, yes, yes I am. But where is the minor lie? Well, if you would like to move your submit button to another page or even further down on your form, you can do so with the hidden field type. Now, while the hidden field type isn't technically visible, the form and the system still considers it to be. Let me jump back into that form and add a third page by including a page break. I'll include no logic this time, and in that page, I'll create a hidden field. If we again jump onto the live view of our form, we'll notice that the submit button appears by itself on that final page after the hidden field. So you can use the hidden field to push your submit button further down or even to add it to another page on your form. Well, I hope this has been a helpful video, and if it has, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more helpful videos on everything Paperform. And please leave in the comments below what other videos would you like us to create. Good luck and have fun creating.